Now to the federal fraud investigation involving Real Housewives of Salt Lake City cast member Jen Shah. Due to technical difficulties yesterday, her arraignment was postponed until Friday, but we're told she's expected to plead not guilty to 2 federal fraud charges. Shah and her assistant Stuart Smith are facing 2 charges of conspiracy to commit wire fraud with telemarketing and a conspiracy to commit money laundering. According to federal documents, there were hundreds of people over the age of 55 who claimed they fell victim to this scheme. So how do high-profile celebrity cases work, and what can we expect in the next steps in Shah's case? Joining us live to break all of this down is California-based fraud attorney David Fleck. David, good morning. This is a huge talker story in Utah. So why does the FBI and U.S. Attorney's Office take a liking to these types of cases?
Well, first of all, thank you for having me. But to be totally frank, there are far more fraud cases out there than law enforcement will ever be able to investigate and prosecute. So high-profile cases create an opportunity to warn potential fraudsters out there, don't do this, or this will happen to you.
And with so many people watching and this making such big news, I mean, this is a great opportunity, sounds like, to take some of that, to take that opportunity. Now, the strength of their case against Shah and Smith, what is the government's strength?
Yeah, well, okay, they have so many cases to choose from, honestly, and I hate to tell people that there are so many cases to choose from. They're not likely to choose weak cases, right? So, but digging into the details, I mean, they have alleged that Jen Shah and others basically scammed people out of their money by calling them up on the telephone and talking them into buying services that were never provided. They alleged that Jen Shah's role was in providing the call lists, the lists of people to be called and targeted as victims. The issue that in this type of case is, of course, her knowledge of the crime, of what was going on. It's not illegal to create a sales list, but if she knew these sales lists were being used to commit fraud, well, then that's a crime. Because they have to prove her knowledge, because you can't accidentally defraud somebody. You have to intentionally cause the fraud to happen.
Why do people like Shah tend to target folks that are over the age of 55? Because we learned yesterday that doing so could create some harsher punishments if caught.
Yeah. Well, there are a few reasons. One reason is that some of the older generation tend to be more trusting and polite, and so they'll believe these people on the phone. They won't immediately suspect they might be scam artists. The other reason is a lot of older folks tend to be lonely, and if there's somebody on the phone who's friendly and interesting and willing to talk, the senior victim will stay on the phone, which gives the con artist a longer time to build that rapport, that trust that they need to convince the victim to part with their money or property. And then the last reason is a lot of these seniors are on fixed incomes, and they may not be happy with the amount of income they have. And if somebody's offering a get-rich scheme, I mean, to the right person, that can be very enticing. Remember, not every senior will fall victim to this, but these con artists are calling hundreds, if not thousands, of people.
Hate to cut you off. We only have about 30 seconds left. But how does restitution play into the opportunities that Shah's attorneys could win this case?
Did you say restitution?
Yeah, their ability to pay restitution to the victims.
Yeah, well, okay, restitution will be a part of this. There will be a restitution order at the end of this to compensate the victims, but I will tell you, in many fraud cases, it's hard to recover the money. The money is often spent as quickly as it comes in by con artists. All
right, David Fleck, thank you so much for waking up early with us on Good Morning Utah. We'll continue to watch this high-profile case. Thank you so much for joining us.
You're welcome. Pleasure.